away, as Samson walked through the vineyards of Timnah alone, a ferocious lion sprang out from the bushes, its roar shaking the earth. Any other man would have been paralyzed with fear, but the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon Samson. With his bare hands, he seized the lion and tore it apart as if it were a young goat. Breathing heavily, Samson looked at the lifeless creature in amazement. He told no one of the encounter. Later, during his journey to marry the Philistine woman, Samson passed by the lion's carcass and noticed bees swarming inside it. Intrigued, he reached in and scooped out honey, savoring its sweetness. He shared some with his parents, but kept the origin a secret. At the wedding feast, Samson's cleverness shone through. The Philistines, confident in their superiority, underestimated him. Samson posed a challenge.
Let me tell you a riddle. If you can solve it within the 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes. If you cannot solve it, you will owe me the same.
The guests, intrigued, agreed. Samson's riddle was cryptic.
Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet.
For days, the Philistines puzzled over the riddle, their frustration growing. On the fourth day, they resorted to underhanded tactics, threatening Samson's new wife. "Coax your husband into revealing the answer, or we will burn you in your father's house." Terrified, she wept before Samson.
"You don't love me. You've given my people a riddle and not told me the answer,"
she accused. Her tears were relentless, and Samson, worn down, revealed the secret. She quickly passed it on to the Philistines. On the final day of the feast, the Philistines smugly answered Samson,
"What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion?"
Samson's heart burned with anger, for he knew he had been betrayed. "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle," he spat. Fueled by divine strength and fury, Samson left the feast and went to Ashkelon, another Philistine city. There he struck down 30 men, took their garments, and fulfilled his promise to the wedding guests. But his anger and betrayal consumed him, and he stormed back to his father's house, leaving his new wife behind. Unbeknownst to Samson, his father-in-law, believing Samson had abandoned her, gave her in marriage to another man, a decision that would ignite a chain of vengeance. The scripture came to mind. The Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. Exodus 15:3. Though Samson's path seemed reckless, his battles were the Lord's battles, orchestrating a confrontation with the Philistines. His riddle, the lion and the honey, became symbols of God's power to turn death into sustenance and weakness into strength. This was only the beginning of Samson's volatile journey, one that would test his resolve, faith, and purpose as Israel's deliverer. Samson's anger burned as fiercely as his strength was unmatched. Betrayed by his Philistine wife and her people, and humiliated at his own wedding, Samson returned to his father's house, brooding. But his heart could not forget the woman he had once loved. He decided to reconcile with her. Samson traveled to Timnah with a young goat as a peace offering, intending to visit his wife. Upon arrival, her father met him at the door with a nervous expression. "I was sure you hated her, gave her to your companion, but her younger sister is more beautiful. Take her instead." Samson's fists clenched and his jaw tightened. Betrayal struck him once again. His voice thundered with rage. "This time, I will have my revenge on the Philistines," and devised an extraordinary plan. He caught 300 foxes, tying their tails together in pairs. To each pair, he fastened a torch, lighting them ablaze and releasing them into the Philistines' grain fields. The flames spread quickly,